When it comes to on the ground, of course, a complex geopolitical battle is underway. I mean, what can you tell us today, for example? How are things gearing up?
Well, first of all, you're right. The entire map of the region is being reshaped in the course of a week, the balance of forces on the ground there. In a broad sense, you see full screen right now. This is from the Live View map site, which shows the configuration in real time on the ground of conflicts and clashes and what's really happening. I know that looks like a scary, complex map. I'll try to boil it down. Broadly, you have a buffer zone in the north, which is what Turkey is proposing as its safe zone, all the way from east of the Euphrates and Manbij, all the way across to the Iraqi border. Below that, you have what's still, as of this hour, mostly Kurdish-controlled area. Below that, all that purple is Syrian government-controlled area. To the left of the map, in the green, you have what's really Turkish forces and other Syrian opposition forces, control of areas they've had for a while. Here's what's changing. Now let's bring it back to me so I could point a few things out and boil this down. A few key points on this map. What's happening here? Look at these points. You have Russian and Iranian forces, but mostly Russian, often jointly with Syrian forces, moving into areas in northeastern Syria that have not been their areas at all. They have not been present there in years of this conflict. That's changing in the past few days. These are areas right now where Russian and Syrian armed forces, sometimes jointly, sometimes alone, are reported to be moving around this area towards Kobani. Kobani had been a town right on the border there that had been the site of Turkish airstrikes last week. That is a town that could soon be contested between Turkish and Russian Syrian forces. Over here, look at this. You see the little blue there? You know what that is? Those are areas to which the U.S. coalition, the coalition forces led by the U.S. here, have retreated, pulling back from bases up here. This looks like a little flame, fire. You know what that represents? That represents fire that's been reportedly put U.S. Special Forces burning material and equipment at a cement plant which formerly served as a base for U.S. Special Ops forces. All of them retreating. So the broad trend here, Russian, Syrian forces often together moving into areas that until now had been controlled by U.S. Special Forces and their Kurdish-led allies fighting the Islamic State group. That's changing very quickly. The entire map here is changing. Over here, you see an announcement. That's a Syrian Democratic Forces led by that Kurdish YPG group, basically saying now that they have struck an agreement with the Russian government. That's one of their own announcements, saying that they will sort of try to work in concert with each other. So everything is up for grabs right now. It's like pickup sticks. Throw the sticks up. All the forces are being reconfigured, rearranged in that region. But the main thing is U.S. in retreat, diminished influence, Russian, Syrian forces back in areas or in areas now that they haven't been in throughout this war. And the SDF, the Syrian Democratic Forces with those Kurdish units battling right now to retain what they have had control of for the past few years.
All right, Doug, giving us an update of that complex situation on the ground in northern Syria.